Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm Earl Christian III, of course, and today I have the pleasure of sitting with the Reverend Jesse Jackson on the heels of the 15th Annual Economic Wall Street Summit.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing.
This Wednesday night, January 25 through 27, it's our 15th year. We determined some time ago that this was the next stage of our struggle. Beyond freedom, we must also fight for equality. And I call this the fourth stage. Stage one of our struggle was to end slavery. 246 years of struggle.
Yes, sir.
The second stage was to end legal Jim Crow, racial apartheid laws. The third struggle was the right to vote. But you can be out of slavery, out of Jim Crow, have the right to vote, and not grow or starve unless you have access to capital, industry, technology, and deal flow. And what has happened in these last few years, really, is an all-out assault on the infrastructure of Black America. We have President Barack Obama at the top as the captain of the ship. There's rebellion on the ship. You have those who are willing to sink the whole ship just to destroy the captain.
This is very true.
In the meantime, article in the Wall Street Journal a few days ago about the disproportionate number of bankruptcies on blacks. We found that the banks were targeting, steering, clustering blacks on the housing foreclosure. So to circumvent the Community Reinvestment Act, they simply targeted us with subprime and predatory lending schemes. Why we took the biggest hit in the housing crisis.
I remember.
Well, your house is your first business.
True.
Your house is a small business. You invest in it, it's your asset. And with the housing collapse, folks are driven into poverty. Add to that those who lost public sector jobs, post office, police, chiefs, and firemen, drove us deeper into poverty. It means we're less able to support other businesses. So we're on that kind of assault. So what it is, the radio and TV stations, we have fewer, because Gingrich removed the tax certificate the time he became head of the Congress. And so that was an incentive to sell TV and radio to blacks, not to Latinos, because we'd never been in it before. Gingrich killed the tax certificate. Now the spectrum is growing. We're not a part of that. So we're coming to Wall Street to assess where we are. One, we want to revive a commitment to the tax certificate so we can begin to buy radio and TV stations again. The 4 E's are here because, you know, about a quarter of our newspapers are going out of business this year.
Right.
They cannot get advertising. We've been advertised at, not advertised with. That's a piece of it. Our financial services sector, these IPOs taking place on the street, we're on the bottom of that. So we come to Wall Street to assess who we are economically and to set our goals, our targets, and our timetables.
Right. Next question, Reverend. Recording. So who are some of the notables that's going to be on hand for this year's summit?
John Rogers, Ariel Capital, Chris Williams, Williams Capital. We're going to have the acting director of FDIC, Mr. Gruenberg, Mr. Mills from Small Business Administration. We'll have the major banks here, head of the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters and National Publishers Association. And then ministers and labor will be meeting on Thursday to move to stop church and home foreclosures. They begin to leverage church consumer power on these companies to get a mutually beneficial fair trade relationship. We end up with a big scholarship dinner event at the Riverside Church on Friday night. So we have 3 days of real focus on economic activity.
Okay. Now I know, I don't know if in the previous years and definitely this year, there's a hip hop component. You know, hip hop industry is amazing in the family. Why target this particular audience at this time, Reverend Jackson?
If you are performing, not setting the rules, you still can't grow. When you see LSU play Alabama in the big football game, you're performing, but it's illegal for us to make money. Those kids who run the touchdowns can't sell their own jersey. It's funny how the rule maker sets the deal. If one of the New York Knicks players who makes $50 million decides he wants to invest half of it in the Knicks organization, he can't.
Wow.
So we're prohibited from investing where our strength is. So that the hip hoppers, every generation has a special challenge. In 1960, that generation had to fight the Jim Crow laws. Because I went to jail in 1960 trying to use the public library. We won that battle. Others of us went to jail in 1965 trying to get the right to vote. We won that battle. Others went to jail to free Mandela. We won that battle. Now, what is this day's challenge? This generation is facing the most unemployment, the highest incarceration rate, the highest homicide rate, and the most school dropouts. So you must get its arm around the challenges of these times. And increasingly, these jail populations are becoming prison labor forces. In South Carolina last week for the primary, 18% of the prison force is leased out to corporations. So you're a prisoner, the corporation, you're leased to a corporation. They pay the state $4 an hour, pay you 55 to 75 cents an hour. But half of the money goes back to pay for your jail cell and your uniform, and half for child support. So you really work for nothing.
Pretty much.
So the corporation, absolutely for nothing. And the corporation then gets the benefit of good labor, disciplined labor, for $4 an hour. So prison labor is becoming a big deal. The whole industry has been built off of coerced labor. So that's a piece of our work here, to look at the impact. What must this generation do? In the 60s, Sam Cooke, coming down the highway and saw our people on the chain gang, striped uniforms on and chains. He did the song Chain Gang, because he was speaking to the relevance of this time. So hip-hop is a vehicle through which you communicate message. So the issue of prison labor force is a big deal. These kids are playing ball for these schools. March Madness, we dribble the ball. With graduation, May Sadness. Playing ball in March, not graduating in May.
March Madness and May Sadness.
That's what it is. And so we got to deal with this issue. The issue of, in our own anguish, killing each other. Most blacks are not killed by whites. Blacks are killed blacks. I mean, whites kill whites. You kill people with whom you're familiar.
Right.
So, but we have the power to stop killing each other right now. We can stop the violence now. We can stop killing each other now. If a black kills a white, it's execution time. White kills a black, it's riot time.
Right.
Black kills black, Miller time. Black, that's the way we do it. Well, we got to break up the madness of so much violence, self-destructive violence.
Without question.
And I think hip-hop brings us a channel through which we can communicate. But that must mean our Voting Rights Act is in jeopardy again.
Right.
To fight to get it, we got to fight to protect it. Our homes are facing foreclosure. Talk about that. We're number one in infant mortality. Number one in short life expectancy. Number one in unemployment. Number one in home foreclosures. So the issues of substance must be wrestled with by each generation.
And we're also creeping up on teen suicide. Ironically, wasn't only African.
But teen suicide comes when there's recycled despair.
Yes, sir.
It's not the politics of assassination. We're not shooting somebody to achieve some political objective. We're shooting somebody for relief, which is a kind of pathological sickness. But we develop so much animosity toward each other that we're just one trigger finger away from killing each other.
Yes, sir.
We have to overcome that self-hate.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Jackson. What roles does hip-hop play in our business economy?
First of all, hip-hop is a talent pool. Not only do you see hip-hop now in the music, you begin to see hip-hop in the movies, hip-hop in the purchasing of goods and services. It's become a profoundly economic agenda. People around the world are now dancing to, listening to rap and hip hop. So we're playing an impact. We're having a cultural impact, and increasing our business impact. People like Jay-Z and Puffy are focused on the business of the matter, not just entertainment, but emancipation and economics.
I know Martin Luther King did, I know what you did. So since, like, when I sit down and think about slavery and, like, black people showing each other gangs and stuff, I'm like, wow, like, we families. Like, we should never do this. So,
The first thing you can do is to become aware of the fact that you are conversant with slavery, segregation, and violence. Those are good subject matters that you are acquainted with leaders who have made an impact. Good step. The third one is don't self-destruct. You must not, as a community of one, you must avoid drugs and guns and self-destruction and self-degradation. You must not degrade women or degrade other people. Jay-Z said the other day, he was reconsidering using the word bitch because he has a daughter now. That's been a protest for a long time. We should not demean each other. We should not discredit each other. You should not call or yell at anything that you wouldn't want your mother called or your sister called. That's the measurement, right?
yeah.
But also study diligently. Because at the end of the day, strong minds break strong chains. So I want you to focus on having a good mind, which comes to study, a work ethic, the courage of your convictions, a character to be trusted. If you will do those things, you'll make a great impact.
I have one more question. Can you explain me the Wall Street project?
Wall Street is the financial capital, just like Washington is the political capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come to Wall Street to look at this whole issue of capital and stocks and bonds and pensions and money. So Wall Street is saying that beyond being free, we don't want to be free to starve, free to be impoverished. We want to be free to build and to grow. And so many of our businesses can't grow because they cannot get access to capital. They cannot get access to credit. Case in point, 50 million Americans are in poverty now. 53 million are food insecure. They are what they call unbankable. They need to borrow $300, $400, $500. You can't go in the front door and borrow that kind of money. You've got to learn the science of capital. You ought to have a checking account. Just to know how to write a check. You ought to have a savings account, even if it's just a small amount of money in it. And something increasingly, we're talking about alternative banking. You go to the big bank, you want to borrow $500, it's too small, they reject you. But that may be what you need to survive. And so there's something called a payday lender. Often the interest rates are exorbitant with a payday lender. So we need to regulate that industry so it's not exploitative. The people who are poor must have some access to capital. I met a guy the other day. He went to a downtown bank. We want to borrow $500. Say this, we don't have an allocation that small. It was like 7% interest. So you had to go around to the back. We went to payday lender. It was like 16%. Why did he do it? Because he had to get $500 to fix his tires to drive to work. So that's his reality. You know what I mean? He wasn't borrowing $500,000, he was borrowing $500. And so increasing the poor pay more. The poor pay more, and that's why you got to understand how to break up that scheme. The poor paying more, we're getting more for less, getting less for more.
Well, Reverend Jackson, I thank you for taking the time again. Another great year with the 15th Annual Wall Street Summit. Thank you for talking to my young producer.
I will see you there.
Yes, you will, sir,
Indeed.
as always. And Urban Wall Street, young producer, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. You're in New York, check out that Economic Wall Street Summit. It's a beautiful situation and empowers. And it's free for students. So that's a beautiful
Wednesday
thing.
night is free. It's a reception.
Okay.
We're talking about on radio and TV stations and newspapers that night.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a breakfast with business and labor ministers on Thursday morning. But there are workshops all day.
Okay.
Young people can come for free. We end up with the scholarship affair on Friday night. So some events cost. But you just want to come and be around people who are talking about the science of capital.
Excellent,
All
excellent.
right.
Love it. Reverend Jackson, as always, it's a pleasure. My brother.
Yes, sir.
Urban Wall Street. Take care.